Welcome to the Sportsnet's digital studios. My name is Amit, Mann, here to catch you up on all the latest and greatest happening at Canada basketball during Paris 2024, the men's team, the women's team, 3x3. I'll be covering all of it, and today we are talking about the men who moved to 2-0 after beating Australia 93-83. A riveting game, very, very fun. Let's look at the game story. And Canada, it got kind of dicey at multiple points. Australia, very talented team. Josh Giddey, Dante Exum, Jock Landell, Patty Mills, of course. A lot of talented players there, but their defense definitely got Canada through this one. Some rough stretches. Perfect RJ Barrett game. Almost perfect. Seriously, he was so good on both ends. A team effort. They needed everyone to contribute in this one, and they got little small contributions from several players in this one. Just a great game. Like that second half, look what Canada did here. I'm just checking out the numbers here. And so in the second half, Australia scored just 34 points. And Canada turned over Australia 18 times, leading to 28 Canadian points. That's their hallmark, baby, all right? And they really showed it in this one. You look at the first half, gilgeous-alexander goes down early on with 2 fouls, and they needed their team collectively to really rebound so they can just get through that step, those few minutes where he was not available, and then you get some minutes from Cam Birch. In this one, 8 minutes, 6 points, 2 rebounds, a huge block, a couple of really nice finishes down the stretch. Andrew Nembhard in that aforementioned SGA stretch where he was not available. He had a couple of really nice buckets. He kept Canada afloat during that stretch. Jamal Murray looked a little bit better in this one. Still not exactly the Jamal Murray we're all used to, but a couple of really nice moments for him. He had a really tough shot down the stretch of the game that they really needed. A few nice passes. He had 5 assists in this one. And just overall, not every game is going to be perfect, right? And this is why I keep on saying, just get to the quarters, just get there, because there's going to be tough stretches. There's going to be foul trouble. There's going to be moments where your team just isn't hitting shots, or maybe things aren't going your way with the officiating, whatever. They did it, right? They did it again, and they keep on finding ways to to win games. And they keep that quality of theirs is going to be the reason why hopefully they go very far in this tournament. They need games like this to kind of get their toughness right, their mentality, their focus. All these little moments contribute to what they're going to eventually be, hopefully, in the gold medal game. Now, also, moving to 2-0, they keep on improving their chances to avoid the U.S. throughout the tournament until that gold medal game. And hey, is it a crazy thing for me to say that Canada is the best competition for the U.S.? Absolutely not, because they're that good. Looking at a few of the key performances, RJ Barrett. I said last game that this was nearly a RJ Barrett perfect game. This was that much closer. He found a sweet spot on several spots on the court, especially within the middle of the Australian defense. Look at his numbers here. He had 24 points in 7 rebounds, 5 assists in 25 minutes. He just keeps on finding ways to help the team. And look, it's very simple for him to make ways to be impactful because there's so much attention on SGA. His job, RJ, is just to contribute from those small avenues, the small pockets on the court where simply there is space. On the wing, just drive the paint, make good decisions. And sure, he had a few turnovers, but his mentality, right? His objective was strong. He played tough. He played with a fortitude that Canada really needed in this one. Transition, obviously he was getting there, but also look at the assists. 5 assists. That's a lot of good decisions right there. And when he's making these assists, these aren't kind of those lame assists that you sometimes see in the NBA where a person gets an assist even though they did very little. These are legit assists that he's offering, and these are just really great steps for him as Canada and also his Raptors season. He continues to improve. He's still so young. There's so much more still going for him, and performance like this are just exactly what you need, and I still want to keep on seeing more. Keep on doing it. Keep on improving. He was great. SGA now, you're running out of words for him, but I found this to be an actual MVP performance because, yeah, he had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 stocks. Stocks is steals and blocks combined. He had one that was really impressive where there was a driver coming from the corner and he met him at the rim and right? He blocked that. Right. And this is what SGA does. He is a complete player. He has a championship mentality. That's what I like to look at it because it comes down to what do you need me to do? Sometimes it is shot making. Sometimes it is being a point of attack defender. Sometimes it is locking down the paint or offering nail help or offering gap help or whatever the case is. And he's so shifty, so agile, right? He's such a tough cover. in isolation. It doesn't matter how much space you give him. He sees the space and he knows exactly how to get there, how to get his shot off. And he has such an array of moves, such an incredible player. Keep on saying it, all right? SGA is Canadian and we love it, honestly. All right, moving on to Dylan Brooks and Lou Dort. They were a plus 26 in this game. And when you have those two on the wings, you always have a way to win. Like I mentioned earlier that they found a way to win. A lot of that does come from these two right here. I mentioned the SGA's stretch where he was not available. Along with Andrew Nembhard, Dylan Brooks had a few really timely buckets. Sure, he did get a foul for just being a little bit too chatty, a little bit too aggressive with Josh Giddey, and then he got his second foul there, and we need them to avoid foul trouble. It's been an ongoing talking point with not just those two, but also Dwight Powell, which we'll get to in a second. But when you put those two together, man, you always have a way to win games because they are locked down defenders. Late in the fourth quarter, okay, Josh Giddey, he picks up his dribble. He's got the ball above his head. Lou Dort just takes it from him. It was a man move. And then he goes down the court, the stretch of the floor, and he makes a layup. Those two together, there's very little that they can't do on the defensive end because they can protect the rim. They can offer gap help, as I mentioned, just like SGA. They can guard pretty much anyone, keep them in front of them, essentially, right there. And then also just with their toughness, their physicality. Some players on the Canadian team, like I did say this was a team win, but some guys just weren't measuring up on the toughness side of things, especially with Australia. A very good team. Like after their game against Spain, you weren't really sure like what to expect from them in some ways. Like you knew it was going to be a tough game, but like offensively, could they continue to make their shots? And Josh Giddey was very good in this game. His assists, his playmaking, all that was very good. And as I mentioned before, Jacques Landale, he was a down low for Dwight Powell. But when you have guys like this who are just so impactful on the defensive end, again, you just keep on finding ways to win games, keep on finding ways to run in transition. Dylan Brooks, a couple of pull-up twos, a transition three. Lou Dort, he had a few really big shots. I mentioned the block against Josh Giddey. Those two combined with SGA, that trio right there, like you just have so many different ways to win games. And it starts with those three, and they were just sensational. This is such a fun time for Canada basketball. Wow. Very fun game. And now moving on to Dwight Powell, because I think we have to give him some shine. Like his numbers, they aren't that overwhelming. They aren't going to really fire off the page for you, but 7 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals. When he is off the court, Canada has a lot of problems. Now, obviously, this is because they don't have a bona fide center. Zach Edey was not allowed to play for Team Canada. Memphis said, you are going to stay here and you are going to train. Maybe he will be available for the next Olympics, but right now, they don't have a lot of options, right? And that's why we're seeing Kelly Olynyk only play 4 or 5 minutes in this game because he wasn't measuring up to the physicality to measure up against a team like Australia. So we saw Kem Birch get some minutes. We saw Trey Lyles. He didn't play that much. But Dwight Powell played 26 minutes at center. Didn't get in foul trouble. He was taking body blow after body blow after body blow from Jacques Landale. A couple of those plays, I'm just like, officials really let him play. Okay, well, so be it. But a couple of really nice contests at the rim. He had a really nice finish, two really nice finishes down the stretch of the game. A couple of an alley-oop off of SGA. Like when he's off the court, Canada isn't very good. I'll put it that way. And his consistency from that position, despite his lack of size against some of these matchups, he's going to be in tough against Spain in a few days here. And also going forward, you think of like the USA, Serbia, what have you. But just a credit to him for being just one of those consistent guys. Like I mentioned, as I think about it, I mentioned Lou Dort, Dylan Brooks, SGA. Dwight Powell's kind of in there too because he just does the dirty work and he's happy to do it and he knows his role on the team, which is even more important than anything. Like Lou, Dylan, they can deviate a little bit. SGA knows he's the MVP, but Dwight Powell, they need him to be so concise and consistent with everything that he does. He does that. Such a fun game. Can't say many more words about this team. They're looking like a contender, right? Like the USA, we know their story. They are the most talented team. They can go 12-11 deep. Jason Tatum was a DMP in their last game, right? You can say what you want about Jason Tatum, top 5, top 7 player, but that's how good they are, that they can not play him and they can still win games. But Canada, they're looking very strong, and this was another feather in their cap, another way in which they showed how versatile they are with winning games. So looking at the schedule, here's what's coming up for all the teams. The 3x3 team, they got a lot of games coming up over the next few days. Just keep on tracking what their progress is. The men's team, they got Spain on Friday at 11:15 a.m. Don't miss that one. The women's team, as I mentioned yesterday, they are in tough to advance to the quarters, but hopefully they can get it done, because it would be a shame if they weren't able to at least make it a little bit tough. That loss against France and the point differential was costly for them. But Australia, Canada, they beat them in the exhibition. They get going at 7:30 on Thursday, and I will be talking to you after that one. So please enjoy the Olympics, enjoy this win, have fun.